I started kind of looking back into some of the stuff you've done, and you've said, I believe, and I quote, you've said, "I would like to go to space at any point."
Forget just floating in space. This guy wants to go way further. Trust me, you'll want to watch this.
Yeah.
Is that true?
It is, yeah, but I think I don't want to just go up and just float for a second, come back down. I kind of like, that doesn't really interest me too much. I'd love to go in the new commercial plane that they're talking about that does Mach 6.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That will potentially be kind of right at the tip of the stratosphere, but
yeah,
that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I'd love to go out on a Blackbird.
Oh, yeah.
Ugh.
Oh, yeah.
That plane is wicked.
Yeah.
But no, but I love space. I've got like telescopes. I've got God knows how many telescopes. I'm out on my driveway for hours just looking up, trying to find.
Oh, that's awesome.
Zooming in from my laptop. So yeah.
Because that's what I was going to ask. I was going to see if like you're interested in space flight. You're like, oh, you want to do a suborbital hop, or is it like go to the International Space Station? Is it do a private orbital like what Polaris has done? I don't know if you're familiar with Polaris Dawn mission.
Yeah.
Jared just did the first spacewalk, commercial spacewalk ever.
Yeah, spacewalk would be amazing.
Which is yeah.
Spacewalk would be amazing. I don't know. I think, as I said, I don't just going up and hopping and sitting there for a second and going back down. The weightless thing, I think you could probably just do that, and there is like those commercial kind of airline planes that you can drop from, I don't know, 50,000 feet, whatever it is, and feel weightless.
Yeah.
For me, it's going to another planet.
Yeah.
That's what I'd be interested in.
It's fascinating to see the passion for space exploration among F1 drivers. Speaking of pushing boundaries, Lewis Hamilton's recent move to Ferrari has certainly set the F1 world abuzz. With Hamilton joining Charles Leclerc, do you think this dynamic duo will bring the Constructors' Championship back to Maranello? Ferrari's rich history and Hamilton's experience could be a game-changer this season.
Like you'd go to the moon or Mars potentially, or
the moon, also the unknowns,
Yeah,
and
I
it
do
is
too,
really
yeah.
phenomenal when you think of just how big the universe is and how small we are. I find that really like just eye-opening, and just I'm in awe of the universe.
Yeah.
And I literally watched and studied and read everything about James Webb Telescope, and watching it being built, and when it was going to be launched, I was literally set a date in my calendar. That's like how much I was into that. And I've obviously seen pretty much all the space movies, but just reading into black holes, and this is, I love it.
So you're both into like space and the unknown in the universe, and astronomy and what about like where's rockets specifically play into that? Like, are you fascinated by
when I went to
rockets?
NASA, I literally I sat in the rocket of the original
the original Saturn V.
Saturn V, yeah, was mad.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
And I'm blown away. I'd love to see the new rockets, because they didn't develop those for a long time.
The commercial age has really changed a lot of things.
Yeah.
Just the other day, I don't know if you're familiar, but SpaceX landed a 70-meter tall booster from the edge of space, caught it with a tower.
I saw it. Yeah, it's insane.
It's like the most unbelievable
coolest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, I have some footage to show you. We tracked it at 420 frames a second coming back in, and you see it relighting its engines.
And it comes down and landed on 3.
Comes down and lands on 2 things. Yeah, on 3 engines exactly. And then it has these catch points about this big, and it landed on the tower with.
That's why when I was watching it, I was just blown. I was like, this can't be real.
It's unbelievable. And that's only 5 hours from here, by the way.
Really?
It's right on the border of Mexico and the United States here in Texas.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that technology and how the team that's doing that are unbelievable.
Yeah, it's some next level stuff.
I would love to just see how much smaller that rocket is compared to the first that went to the moon.
The synergy between advancements in space exploration and Formula One technology is truly captivating. Ferrari's continuous evolution, highlighted by their recent car developments, reflects a similar drive for progress. As Hamilton embarks on his journey with Ferrari, it's intriguing to anticipate how this collaboration will shape the dynamics of the 2025 championship.
These ones are bigger. So Starship is actually twice as powerful as the Saturn V that took humans to the moon.
Wow.
That's it's nuts because it shakes. You know, the public can stand 5 miles away from this
and still feel
8 kilometers, and I mean it's shaking like it. And then the crazy thing is, unlike the Saturn V, when they throw the rocket away every time, they're working on making it completely reusable.
Reusable, yeah, I've seen.
And so the crazy thing is, it comes back and it creates this huge sonic boom because it's going from supersonic to transonic, and like you can see it in some of our footage. It's shaking the grass. Even the sonic boom is. It is unbelievable.
That's something I would love to see. Is
you need
breaking the sound barrier or break the sound barrier. Like I want to get into something even faster than this.
Yeah,
that's the next step.
You have to talk to Slick, but unfortunately, I think it's actually pretty mundane. I think when you go supersonic, like you don't in the seat, you don't really notice it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the better experience is watching from the outside.
I'm sure. That's something I'd love to try, like a MiG.
Yeah. Oh, these guys fly with a MiG-29, and it is scary.
But I have I've read a lot and watched a lot of videos online, like for example, in the Blackbird, and just trying to understand how that engine works. And there's obviously lots of different videos on YouTube telling you all about all the different jet engines.
Absolutely.
I'm constantly fascinated by it because even I looked at like getting a small RC jet plane because I have a petrol RC plane. It's just mad how they can make such a small jet engine still have so much thrust.
The reusability of SpaceX's Starship not only revolutionizes space travel economics, but also introduces new challenges. The sonic booms generated during its return are so powerful that they have the potential to cause structural damage in nearby communities, prompting discussions about environmental impacts and the need for regulatory considerations.
Yeah, I don't know if you're familiar with Tyler Perry at all. Of course. Have you ever seen his collection of RC planes?
I haven't. No, I didn't know.
He has literally a hangar about this size
of
like scale RC. Some of the planes are like RC planes are almost the size of this.
I look on those videos as well. The people that take that really serious.
Tyler Perry might be the most serious of them all. Yeah, you should look into it.
One of my good friends is really good friends with Tyler. So
go watch him fly RC planes.
It's incredible what he's achieved. Within his business, and so I didn't know he was into that. I did get the opportunity to go and see Ayrton Senna. I went to Ayrton Senna's ranch a couple of years ago, and he has this one room with all these toy RC cars, and I'd seen a picture of him, I think, with a plane, but I didn't know how serious he was about it. But he had, electric petrol boats and a couple of RC planes, but mostly like petrol cars. And I grew up racing petrol cars, or RC cars. So there's one particular car called a Turbo Bones, and he had that Turbo Bones also, and that was my first car.
Oh, that's cool. So that's a cool connection.
Yeah.
I've got one more thing for you to do here, if you don't mind. This is as low stakes questions.
Sorry, can I ask you then a question? So
of course.
Before you get onto that.
Yeah.
So then I've been reading about interstellar travel. How they're working on potentially bending gravity and all those sorts of things. There's that one image of that spaceship. It's got like the ring at the front and the ring at the back, and it's supposed to bend.
Yeah.
Is that
Ayrton Senna's love for RC and petrol cars reflects a deep-rooted fascination with speed and control, something that defined his career in F1. Many racing legends have similar hobbies, using RC models and racing sims to sharpen their skills. It's proof that for true racers, the thrill of competition and engineering extends far beyond the track.
Possible? Is that something that...
So you're getting well outside of my expertise, but my understanding of this is that, and by the way, my expertise, I'm fully self-taught on everything spaceflight.
All right.
But I pay attention to this stuff for a living, you know what I mean? But okay, so gravity, we're still honestly trying to kind of get a real grasp on gravity itself and how to quantize it, how to, what exactly, how we can interact with it. There's actually a lot of important people doing genuine studies on how you can warp gravity. Can you warp gravity? We see gravity being bent around through the James Webb Space Telescope, through Hubble. We see it bent around black holes. You can literally see gravitational lensing, which is just the craziest thing ever. So we know that gravity can be manipulated to that degree. We even see some studies show gravitational waves.
Yeah.
There's pulsars and things that produce gravitational waves, and we can detect that, which is just makes me so proud of humans.
It's freaking incredible. It's insane.
And so the idea is obviously if it can, it's not outside of the possibilities of reality to be able to warp gravity. How can humans do that, with limited power and resources, you know.
It feels like it's hundreds of years away.
It does.
Sort of thing,
it does. But in my
time.
world, like what's exciting is like you can't even begin to do any of that kind of thing until you know, we get access to space being cheaper.
Yeah.
And that's the first step, is like it has to be so ordinary and routine. It's not much different than shipping stuff on a plane or a train, you know, like it has to get to that point. And we're finally in that turn of era where like spaceflight went from billions and billions of dollars. Like, you know, the Saturn V cost billions of dollars. Those missions were so expensive that they only got six missions.
Where they spent trillions.
Gravitational lensing and waves have given us a glimpse into the fundamental nature of spacetime, but manipulating gravity on demand remains far beyond our current capabilities. However, as access to space becomes cheaper and more frequent, the experimental groundwork for such breakthroughs is finally becoming possible. The shift from billion-dollar missions to cost-effective launches is a game changer.
It was hundreds of billions at the end of it, in today's dollars, to end up with 12 people walking on the moon. And that's just not sustainable. Yeah. That's not, you know, no wonder people were like, can we kind of be done with this now?
Yeah,
you know? And we're trying to get to this new era where it's like, hey, well, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. It's a Friday. It's 5 o'clock. Let's go do it, you know? So that
sucks. Me and you are going to be so old by the time it is just that simple and that easy, and people just popping up every day. And
yeah. So I have a few questions. These are as low stakes of questions as you can possibly imagine, even lower stakes than Grill the Grid.
Okay. You know, we're sitting like director's chairs here. This is kind of cool.
Isn't this great? I stole them from the production crew.
You did?
Yeah. I came this prepared.
I once sat in the director's chair of Ridley Scott. It was the coolest thing, and watching him actually film The Martian.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it was the most insane day.
Jeez, yeah, that is.
They were filming like the last scene. Do you remember The Martian?
Oh yeah.
You know when he's in the park, and he's sitting there having a coffee and watching the squad run past.
Yeah.
That training.
Yeah.
Watching a director like Ridley Scott create a vision of Mars for The Martian was incredible, but what's even more exciting is how close we are to making that vision a reality. With reusable rockets, lunar bases in planning, and interplanetary ambitions growing, the dream of humans settling beyond Earth feels more achievable than ever.
That scene, I was literally behind the tent watching him, and it was mad. I remember getting invited, and it was on a Sunday of a race. And sorry to be, I know you got these questions, but I was so excited. I was like, really freaking inviting me to this. And I was so nervous because I was going to meet Matt, and I get there, and Matt hasn't arrived on set. So Ridley goes, just sit here and do what Matt's about to do. So all you have to do is take this cup, you know, pretend to have a sip and like nod to this people going by. And he's literally about to say, go. And I'm like, I'm shaking because I'm like, holy crap, this is really, this is my moment. It's like,
I'm in The Martian right now.
I'm in The Martian right now. It's so cool. So luckily before he said action, Matt turned up. I was like, oh, thank God. And then Matt was like just so welcoming, and then so I got to sit back in one of these chairs for the first time, and now I'm actually directing a movie. So not directing a movie, co-producing a movie, but I get to sit with the director.
That's incredible,
Joe, and so I'm getting used to these chairs. I will have one soon. That's
amazing. So you obviously had the chance to fly with Slick in a jet. Was this your first time actually in a fighter jet?
No, so this is the third time. So my first time was in I think it was 2013 when I first joined the team. We have the Red Arrows in the UK, and I got to go in one of those.
Oh, that's sick.
And it was crazy because they tell you to breathe because you don't have a G suit.
Mm-hmm. Being thrown into a last-minute scene on The Martian must have been surreal. That kind of pressure mirrors what F1 drivers experience every race weekend, having to adapt, stay calm, and perform on the spot. Now, stepping into film production, it's another high-stakes environment, but in a completely different way. The skill set of handling pressure and quick decision-making translates seamlessly.
And the first couple of times in the turns, I was like, oh, I don't even need to do that breathing. And then we pulled, I don't know at the time how much we pulled. It must have been the first time I pulled like 7 Gs or something like that, 8 Gs or whatever. And my vision just went like
oh yeah,
it was like the Looney Tunes skit, you know, or like you know, it was nuts. And all of a sudden, like I woke up, it came back to light. So that was the first time. And then with IWC, we did this a couple of years ago. It wasn't here in Austin, it was somewhere nearby. and I got to fly for the first time, which
Oh,
was
sick.
epic. It was
Yeah.
such a great experience. But flying today was just another step in terms of learning more. I got to turn the whole plane on and play with basically all the switches, taxiing. I was able to follow through the whole of the takeoff and landing. Obviously, John did the landing particularly, and then we came and did a pass by, and then I got to pull the stick and go straight up. I mean, it was mad.
You were the one that pulled the unrestricted climb.
And then we did some barrel rolls, did tumble turns, and we got to do a bit of dogfighting. So like the other jet was ahead of us, and John gave me the whole controls, and I'm chasing him basically.
Oh my God.
And yeah, I just felt like all I could just hear was the Top Gun movie script. Highway to the danger zone. I wish I had that music going with it. It was wicked.
Sick.
So one of the best experiences I've had for sure.
Experiencing high G-forces in a fighter jet is a true test of endurance and control, much like handling an F1 car at full speed. The ability to stay conscious, maintain awareness, and react instantly under such conditions is what makes both fighter pilots and elite racers stand apart. No wonder so many drivers have a passion for aviation.
That's really, really cool. And how did, like, G-forces for you, that's your day job. I mean...
But it's so much different. I mean, in the car, I'm used to the G-force because we pull it laterally and longitudinally, and but
it doesn't pull the blood out of your brain, does it?
No, you get very little vertical G in racing. And there's a couple of corners you might feel a little bit, but it's like a hop. It's nothing major. In this thing, face, skin, you'd notice it.
Yeah.
On a massive scale, particularly when the blood's coming out of your head.
Yeah, seriously.
And you're trying to keep it in there, but there's no way to it.
When I was going to comment, wondering if you're like claustrophobic because it's so small, but then I remembered that you basically drive a sleeping bag with wheels for a living.
Exactly.
So
Yeah. I don't know why I'm tuned the way I am. Like, I don't get claustrophobic. I don't really get nervous ever. I don't know why. Like, I guess, for these pilots that have to take those tests and operate in such high pressured situations, that's where I'm the most calm. And that's probably where they're the most calm, is when they have to make those important decisions, critical decisions. And
same with you.
And that's what we do in the car, you know. So,
you got to make those decisions.
Yeah, if I didn't have that calmness just always, but like if I have to get up on stage and do a Q&A is easy. Getting up to do a speech, like I just had to do one the other day, and I'm like on the verge of passing out. That's for me the worst thing ever.
Wow,
yeah, my heart rate is like 200, and I'm like, oh, this is horrible. I'm about to pass out.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I get massive anxiety.
The ability to remain calm under intense G-forces is what separates good drivers from champions. Ferrari's best moments often come from drivers making split-second decisions under massive pressure, like Sainz's Singapore GP win. Imagine the mental discipline it takes to process data, react to rivals, and push the car to its limits, all while pulling 5G through high-speed corners.
Okay, so here's a few questions that I thought would be kind of fun. How many Formula One engines do you think it takes to power the pumps of an F1 engine? The F1 engines are those massive Saturn V engines. Those, you stood, I think, at Johnson Space Center and saw those massive F1 engines.
How many Formula One sorry.
Yeah.
How many
Formula One engines do you think it takes to power the fuel pumps for the F1 engine?
I'm imagining, I'm just going to guess 10?
55.
Wow.
Per engine. And there's 5 of those on the Saturn V, so take 275 Formula One engines. Each one of those turbines is 55,000 horsepower.
Wow. On
the gas generator. What's crazy is SpaceX, what they're working on. SpaceX has over 100,000 per turbo pump on the Raptor engine, and they have 33 of those. So that'd be like 1,300.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I need to talk to my sport. Why have we got such weak turbos?
It's nothing, man. Yeah, they're operating at 300 bar. What are you guys at, like 3 bar or something?
Less. Yeah, like
300 bar.
Yeah, that's insane. Jeez,
yep, we're talking
300 bar. Yeah, we're getting 1.6 turbo. You know?
Exactly. Who endures more G-forces, a Formula One driver or an astronaut?
Astronaut. Actually, I don't know what the astronauts. It depends. If you're looking at Armageddon, they, But I think what they're doing, I think they're getting up to 6 Gs, aren't they?
You're pretty close.
Yeah.
You're pretty bang on. On ascent, typically about 3.
Yeah.
On decent re-entry can be higher, 4 or 5, but typically not much more, unless there's an abort. If you abort with the abort thing, that's like 15, 16.
Yeah, that's huge. And
you're hurting, yeah.
So then we pull more than them.
That's what I was thinking, because you're up 5, 6 sometimes, right?
Yeah, we can get up to 6.
Jeez. Yeah. So you guys do.
Just over, but it's a different G.
What do you think accelerates quicker, 0 to 60? Your car or the space shuttle?
Our car for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so much lighter.
Yeah, exactly.
So an F1 car out-accelerates a space shuttle from 0 to 60? That's wild, but it makes sense. Less mass, more grip, and instant power delivery. This is why Ferrari constantly pushes for better launches. Those first few meters can make or break a race. Remember Leclerc's perfect start in Austria? Moments like that prove how crucial acceleration is in F1.
Even with this thing, you know, I've raced this in my F1 car and off on the runway, and it's so slow off the get-go.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'd love to go onto a flight carrier aircraft carrier and see who catches us at the end.
We'll think about that later.
Yeah, it'd be wicked.
That would be absolutely
I'd imagine
incredible.
then it goes quicker, but that'd be wicked.
What do you think costs more? The extravehicular spacesuits that they wear, like when they do a spacewalk on the space station, or your Formula One car?
Formula One car.
They're actually about the same. Because yours has the cost of like
suits.
10 to 20 million.
10 to 20 million for one suit.
Mm-hmm.
What? Mm-hmm. Hey man, I need to get into that business because I mean I can make much cheaper suit that does just that's some BS, man. Whoever's selling that suit, firstly it doesn't look good. If I was ever to go to space, I would be designing my own suit, and I'd do it at much cheaper. Geez, it looks like there could be so many cost cuttings everywhere.
Yeah. Well, have you seen?
They need to get a better.
I think someday you'll probably be seeing a cheaper spacesuit.
Oh, you would hope so.
Yeah,
if it's costing 20 million, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly.
You would think that at least if it's spending 20 million, it'll look great.
It has form over function. Okay, last one. Who do you think loses more weight throughout their I'll say their mission? You in 90 minutes in a Formula One car, or an astronaut on a 6-month mission?
An astronaut.
It's about the same again.
Really?
They lose about 2.5% due to bone density and muscle atrophy or muscle mass loss, and you lose what, 2 or 3 kilos a race?
You can lose up to, I mean, the most is up to like 4. But
kilos?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's when your drinks machine doesn't work. And the last race, I think I lost Singapore, I think it was almost 3 kilos.
Oh my God. Yeah. You lose that in 90 minutes, whereas an astronaut slowly loses that
over time.
6 months. Yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't do 6 months, man. I can't. Yeah.
That's all.
Cool.
I just thought you might enjoy some of those nerdy little little facts.
Love that.
Well, I got to get you going. I really, really appreciate you spending time with me and hanging out. I know my fans are probably like, why is this rocket guy talking to Lewis Hamilton, Sir Lewis Hamilton? And your fans are probably like, why is he talking to this rocket guy? But I hope that we do see you fly in space someday, and I'll be there to cheer you on for sure.
Thank you, man.
Awesome. Thank you, Lewis.
Thanks for your time.
Awesome.
Losing 3 to 4 kilos in just 90 minutes? That's the brutal reality of Formula One, especially in high heat races like Singapore. Astronauts lose about 5% of their body mass over 6 months, but F1 drivers endure extreme heat, dehydration, and relentless G-forces every single race. When Leclerc's hydration system failed in Miami, he had to push through at full speed with no water. Imagine driving at 300 kilometers per hour while severely dehydrated. It's no wonder Ferrari drivers train like endurance athletes. Every race is a test of survival, not just skill.